Hello, and welcome to 10-Minute Podcast Series on the School of Buddha, a podcast dedicated to exploring the wisdom of Buddhism and how it can illuminate our daily lives. I'm excited to start this journey with you by diving into the foundational story, teachings, and relevance of Buddhism today. In this episode, we'll explore the origin of Buddhism through the life of Siddhartha Gautama, the man who became known as the Buddha, and his journey from prince to enlightened teacher. We'll break down the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and see how these timeless principles apply to modern challenges. As we go through these teachings, you'll have opportunities to reflect on their relevance in your own life and to try out practical exercises inspired by the Buddha's path. Let's start at the beginning with the life of Siddhartha Gautama. The story begins over 2,500 years ago in a region that today includes parts of Nepal and northern India. Siddhartha Gautama was born into a royal family and lived a life of luxury and privilege. According to tradition, his father, the king, shielded him from the harsh realities of life. Siddhartha was kept within the palace walls where he enjoyed wealth, comfort, and every pleasure imaginable. As Siddhartha grew older, he became curious about the world outside. One day, he ventured beyond the palace and encountered what are now known as the Four Sights: an old man, a sick person, a corpse, and a holy man. These encounters changed him deeply. For the first time, Siddhartha saw the universal truths of aging, illness, and death, and he witnessed a peaceful ascetic seeking a different path. He realized that his life of pleasure could not shield him from suffering. This realization set him on a quest to understand the nature of suffering and the possibility of liberation from it. He left the palace, renouncing his royal life, his family, and all his possessions. For years, he wandered, studying with spiritual teachers and practicing extreme asceticism, hoping to find enlightenment. But despite his efforts, he felt no closer to understanding the nature of suffering. Finally, Siddhartha decided to follow a middle way between self-indulgence and self-denial. He sat under the Bodhi tree, vowing not to rise until he discovered the truth. After days of deep meditation, he experienced a profound awakening, seeing into the nature of existence. In that moment, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the awakened one. The Buddha's story teaches us that while comfort and pleasure can be satisfying, they don't necessarily lead to lasting happiness. His journey reflects our own quest for meaning and peace in a world that is often uncertain and challenging. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are there aspects where you seek comfort but feel something is missing? What might you discover by looking within, beyond the distractions? After attaining enlightenment, the Buddha wanted to share what he had discovered, and so he began teaching. His first sermon, known as the Setting in Motion the Wheel of Dharma, outlined what would become the foundation of Buddhism: the Four Noble Truths. Let's go through these Four Noble Truths together. The first noble truth, the truth of suffering, or dukkha. The Buddha's first teaching was that life involves suffering, or dukkha. This doesn't mean that life is only suffering, but that suffering is an inevitable part of human experience. Whether it's physical pain, emotional loss, or existential dissatisfaction, suffering touches everyone. Think about the stresses or struggles in your own life. This truth encourages us to recognize them openly without denial. Psychologists today suggest that acknowledging our struggles can actually empower us to face and manage them. Reflect on one aspect of life where you feel dissatisfaction. What would it be like to face it without avoidance? The second noble truth, the cause of suffering. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from tanha, often translated as craving or attachment. When we cling to pleasure, success, or security, we become vulnerable to suffering because everything we desire is impermanent. This craving extends beyond material possessions. It includes desires for recognition, approval, and control. Practice observing a desire as it arises. It could be something small, like a craving for a snack or a desire to check your phone. Notice how it feels and see if you can let it pass without acting on it. This small exercise can help you understand the nature of craving and how it can lead to dissatisfaction. The third noble truth, the end of suffering. The Buddha's third teaching is a message of hope. Suffering can end. When we let go of craving and attachment, we can find freedom. This state of liberation is known as nirvana, which is a profound peace and clarity beyond conventional happiness. To reflect, imagine what it might be like to let go of something you're clinging to, a relationship, an expectation, or even an old grievance. How might releasing this attachment bring a sense of relief or lightness? The fourth noble truth, the path to the end of suffering, or the Eightfold Path. The final truth is the path to end suffering, known as the Eightfold Path. This path is a practical guide to ethical and mental discipline that fosters wisdom and compassion. Let's now explore the Eightfold Path, which provides practical steps toward living a balanced and fulfilling life. The Eightfold Path is divided into three main areas: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. 1. Wisdom, or panna, that includes right view, which means understanding reality as it is, including the Four Noble Truths. Right intention, meaning cultivating an attitude of kindness, renunciation, and compassion. 2. Ethical conduct, or sila. It includes right speech, which means speaking truthfully, avoiding gossip, and practicing kindness in words. Right action, which means acting in ways that do no harm to others. And right livelihood, meaning choosing work that is honest and ethical, avoiding harm to others. Let's do an exercise. Consider one area of your life where you could practice right speech or right action. Try spending a day observing how you communicate and interact with others. Notice if there are moments where you can bring more kindness and mindfulness into your interactions. 3. Mental discipline, or samadhi. It includes right effort, meaning cultivating positive states of mind and letting go of harmful ones. Right mindfulness, meaning practicing present moment awareness and attention. And right concentration, meaning developing deep focus, especially in meditation. To meditate, begin with a simple breathing exercise. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Observe each inhale and exhale, allowing thoughts to come and go without attachment. This exercise, even for a few minutes, builds mindfulness and concentration. Buddhism's foundational teachings may seem ancient, but they address timeless human issues: suffering, desire, purpose, and peace. Today, Buddhist principles are widely applied in fields like psychology, healthcare, and even corporate settings to help people manage stress, cultivate resilience, and find balance. For example, mindfulness-based practices derived directly from Buddhist teachings are now widely used in mental health treatments. Programs like mindfulness-based stress reduction, pioneered by Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn, help individuals reduce anxiety, manage pain, and find calm. When we learn to approach life with mindfulness and compassion, we engage more fully with ourselves and those around us. As we end this introductory episode, take a moment to set an intention for this journey. What drew you to explore Buddhism? Is there something in your life that you hope to understand more deeply or transform through these teachings? Take a few breaths and set a simple intention. It could be to approach life with more peace, to let go of a particular habit, or to find clarity in a challenging area. Carry this intention with you as we continue through the series, exploring themes of wisdom, compassion, meditation, and ethical living. Thank you for joining us on this first step of our journey through the School of Buddha. We've explored the foundational teachings of Buddhism, beginning with the story of the Buddha and his discovery of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. These timeless teachings offer us tools to navigate life's challenges with understanding and compassion. In our next episode, we'll go deeper into the Four Noble Truths, examining how they provide insight into our everyday struggles and guide us toward peace. Until then, take a few moments each day to observe your breath and remember the Buddha's words: Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without.